I'm Kevin Stevens, a native Pensacolian, husband, father, and U.S. Navy veteran.
But that's not what this is about.
I'm a local businessman who has owned many successful companies over the years.
But it's not about this either.
Recently, I ran for public office and was elected to a seat on the ECUA Board of Commissioners.
So what's this about? It's about an elected official who will serve his community and hold his fellow elected officials accountable.
All while making local government more transparent. Join me in making Pensacola a better place to live, work, and play.
Thank you for joining us for the first On the Board with Kevin Stevens. On this show, we're going to talk about the issues facing the people of Escambia County, as well as providing you some behind-the-scenes information about the Escambia County Utility Authority, the inner workings of ECUA, and how ECUA affects the lives of our citizens and local businesses. First of all, I'd like to answer a few questions sent to me, emailed to me, and phoned into me about some issues affecting Escambia County and how they relate to ECUA, as well as some specific questions about ECUA. So one question I've been asked is, what am I doing to make ECUA more transparent? That's a great question because that was my campaign platform, was transparency and accountability. So we're doing a few things to make ECUA more transparent. First off, we are reinstituting, after a short break pre-COVID, the online viewing of the ECUA meetings. Actually, I've reached out recently to some of the producers of Studio 850 and asked them if they'd be interested in filming our meetings live. So that's something that we're going to be doing. It's very important to have our meetings, have our board meetings, just like your county commission meetings, your city council meetings, live streamed for the public to watch who cannot necessarily make that 3:30 meeting. Brings me to my second question. What are my thoughts about moving the meetings to 5:30? Again, that was an interesting question. When I was on the campaign trail, I had a lot of folks ask me about moving the meetings to 5:30. And of course, first of all, my first response to that when I'm asked about anything in reference to ECUA is, I'm one of 5 votes. That being said, I did bring it up. We actually brought it up to a vote, and we got some pretty good feedback. One of which was wait to daylight savings time to address that. So now that we are in the spring forward daylight savings time, that is something that's going to be brought up at our next meeting. And there's some good feedback. And there's also the feedback of, if we move it at 5:30, are more people going to show up? So I'm a proponent of a later meeting to engage more of the public, which is what this is all about, because we are the people's utilities. So that is something that we're actually going to be bringing up again at our next meeting now that we've got more daylight hours. Another question is, what do you think about the agendas being made public before the meetings? I think it's a great idea. We get our meeting packets about 4 or 5 days before the meeting to review the various information, some of the specifics of that upcoming meeting, as well as any bids that we are going to review and vote on. So I think that's great. Definitely like to see that on the website. We are making some updates to our website now, to some of our media and social media. So that is a very doable request, is to make those meetings public and available to the public online. So another question is, do you think the water tastes better or worse? Do I think the water tastes better? It really depends on where you are drinking the water. I think you would have a wide variety of opinions from the north end of the county to the central part to downtown on what people's opinions are on the water. I certainly think it could certainly taste better. I don't think anybody would argue with you that the water could taste better, but we are working on even a better than what we have right now filtering process for that. So stay tuned for some more information on that.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
I feel like her heartbeat is like same speed as mine. And I think we have this like deep connection, this heart connection in her heart, that there's room for me and Mom. When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
She's really good with Anya. I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns, like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, it's gonna be cool. She's my superhero. Good job, Kitty Cat. When we adopted Lucky, we discovered all the wonderful things that make her unique.
Lucky's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly she's pure love.
Hi, I'm Smokey Cole Bear, filling in because for 75 years, Smokey only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
Meanwhile, the song was wrong. We did start the fire. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back with On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So our next question, how do you plan to improve customer service? And that's a great question. I could spend an entire show talking about customer service. And let's face it, I'm not going to beat around the bush. We could do a lot better job at ECUA with customer service. Probably one of my number one calls I get during the course of a week, and probably a third of the emails I get during the course of a day. How do we improve it? We do that. We do that in a few different ways. One of which is setting the expectation. First of all, letting our staff know what we expect of them as it relates to them dealing with our ratepayers. I set the expectation very early on when I met our new director, Bruce Woody, great guy, by the way, fantastic director. When I told him, I said, Bruce, what we've got to be able to do is communicate directly with the various department heads as it relates to a situation, whether it be customer service, whether it be engineering, whether it be a missed garbage pickup, whatever the case may be. And so we set that expectation. So when I have a customer contact me with the situation, whether it be a lack of customer service or a missed pickup, whatever the case may be, I have them email me, give me as much detail as they possibly can, name, address, phone number, and I forward that information to Bruce, and then I copy the respective department head. And they respond back to me typically same day, and then of course I'm able to respond back to the resident. So I can tell you we've got a long way to go, but we've come a long way in improving the customer service experience. Next question is, what do I think about transparency, and how could ECUA be more transparent with their budget? Again, that falls into the question right below that, which is, how do we make the ECUA budget more simplified for citizens to understand? I'll tell you all, I spent last week in my last ECUA meeting talking about the budget. So about 2/3 of the meeting was taken up with the paint scheme on the downtown water tower, which is an episode all on its own. and the last third was the budget. So I don't know how you simplify a 168-page budget. It was pretty, like I said, it was very detailed. How do you simplify that for the average citizen? I'm not sure. That is what I do for my various companies. I'm the CFO, so I'm very attuned at reading and dissecting and understanding P&Ls, balance sheets, debt schedules, cash flow statements, that sort of thing. And when you're dealing with a $160 million annual budget, over $1 billion worth of assets. I'm not sure how you simplify that, but I think it's very important that we understand it. This particular question actually has great relevancy to me, and your timing for the question, by the way, is great. As one of the budgetary concerns that stood out to me was what we're paying in bonds. So typically ECUA borrows well over $230 some odd million in the form of bonds, and we do that to fund infrastructure projects. So one thing that stood out to me when I reviewed the budget, all 168 pages of it, and dissected it, I looked at the debt schedule, and that's basically what we owe other people, right? And one thing that stood out to me was the interest rate that we're paying for bonds. So when we're talking about how we can save money within ECUA, and how we can reduce our rates, and how we can tighten our belts a little bit with ECUA, using a rate increase as the last possible option. One way would be to reduce some of the rates we're paying on our bonds. So that's something that myself, the director, as well as our financial department are looking at and kind of tuning in on that. That's kind of the proverbial low-hanging fruit that we can do to potentially save the ratepayers a tremendous amount of money. So stand by for some up-and-coming good news on our budget. What better ways, another question, is there for alerting of a boil ban notice? Well, currently, as we have a boil ban notice, we contact the resident on their number that they've provided to ECUA. Now, keep in mind, a lot of that's a home number. So a lot of you folks, probably like me, don't answer your home phone. So when ECUA is calling you, notifying you of a boil ban, make sure that we have that current number for you. In most of our cases, that's the cell phone. So again, I would also invite individuals to update their contact information, because that's how we're getting a hold of you. We're contacting you on your phone. We're also having staff members come out and hang door hangers on your doors, notifying the affected areas of that boil ban notice. So if you don't take anything away from this segment, take away, update your contact information with a number that you're going to answer. Most likely that's your cell phone. What do I think of using a text message system like what we have in Gulf Breeze? I think that's a great idea. I think it's a great idea to use the text message system for that. Again, the more venues we have to contact you all, letting you know that there's a possible issue with a boil ban notice, the better. So I'm certainly all for that. Again, stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short commercial break.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
There it is. Keep going with it. Leo!
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
So welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So I'd like to clarify from our prior to the commercial break about boil ban notices. So again, those are boil water notices. So again, those are notices we send out when there may have been a possible sewer leak, something along those lines, where we're advising the residents in the affected areas to boil the water prior to utilizing it. So I just wanted to kind of clear that up on the ban notices versus boil notices. So another question is, and I guess this probably should have been one of the first ones, is why did I run for ECUA? And that's a great question, something my wife asks me almost daily. So, you know, I always look at, even when I'm, my day job running various companies is, can I add value to that company? Can I add value to this partnership? And that's what I looked at when I decided to run for ECUA. Can I add value to ECUA? You know, as a small business owner myself, I thought there's no question that I could take some of my financial knowledge, some of my business knowledge, some of my just common sense, and bring that to ECUA. So again, that's why I ran. I wanted to give back to a community that's given a whole lot to me. And I've always said the moment that I don't think I can add value to ECUA, I won't run again. Another question, what has been the most rewarding experience within ECUA? You know, probably handling customer issues. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but you know, there's a lot of situations I can't impact during the course of the day, working my proverbial day job at my various companies, but I can impact a resident who had a missed garbage pickup. So as simple as that sounds to someone, my wife jokes with me quite frequently, it's a big deal to that individual. So it'd probably be helping the residents. I'll get a phone call saying, Mr. Stevens, ECUA has missed my garbage pickup. Is there any way we could get someone out there? Of course, I'll contact my operations manager and advise them what the location was of the missed pickup and tell them I'd like to have somebody out there the next day to pick it up. So that's great. So that's instant gratification. Most rewarding, I could go on and on about this too. I recently had an individual, not in my district, out in Ararity, who had a new home constructed for them. ECUA didn't hook up the sewer line. There was some mix-up with the county on the permitting of the additional lot. Long story short, disabled veteran, not able to move into his house. He had only a couple weeks to close on his loan before the interest rate went up. He reached out to me. I contacted my director, Bruce Woody, explained the situation to him. Is there any way we could get out there? I know originally we had told him 6 to 8 weeks, explained the situation to him. This was day before yesterday, and today ECUA is out there hooking up this gentleman's sewer to his house so he can close on his loan. So that was very rewarding for me as a veteran myself. That was huge. So that would, I could go on and on about most rewarding experience, but I get those every day, just dealing with the population. I guess you could call it instant gratification. What has been my most frustrating experience within ECUA? I could do an entire show on that as well. Probably the last board meeting where we're talking about the water tower, and we're going back and forth, spending about 2.5 hours on putting the phrase, "Welcome to Pensacola, America's first settlement" on one side, and "Home of the Blue Angels" on the other side. And we spend 2.5 hours, me arguing with other board members about putting America's first settlement on the bottom of the water tower. It was brought up that that phrase may be insulting to indigenous people, perhaps the Indians of some sort. So I was arguing back and forth. My argument was, listen, they're American Indians. I have several Indian friends. I have a business partner who is American Indian. I can assure you that the indigenous population would not be offended by the phrase America's first settlement. It's also, I thought it was kind of catchy. We'd done some surveys within the ECUA. I'd done some surveys myself on my Facebook page, and overwhelmingly the individuals wanted America's first settlement. Unfortunately, I didn't get that. Again, that would probably be the most frustrating issue that I had with that was the last board meeting on fighting really hard to have America's first settlement put on there as well. And then, of course, we had once we got that approved, then I had to fight to get the word "welcome" on the water tower. So that's why I'm a really big proponent on recording these ECUA meetings, because it's comic. It's like watching sometimes there's some comic relief involved there when you're trying to get what you think is very simple passed, and you run into that. So again, stay tuned for a short commercial break.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
I feel like her heartbeat is like same speed as mine, and I think we have this like deep connection, this heart connection in her heart, that there's room for me and Mom. When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
She's really good with Anya. I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, it's gonna be cool. She's my superhero.
Good job, Kitty Cat.
When we adopted Lucky, we discovered all the wonderful things that make her unique.
Lucky's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly she's pure love.
Hi, I'm Smokey Cole Bear, filling in because for 75 years, Smokey only said,
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Meanwhile, the song was wrong. We did start the fire. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
So welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So just moving right along with additional questions and again, I apologize to the individuals and my neighbors. I'm not going to be able to answer all of these in the time we have remaining, but the good news is hopefully this is the first of many shows to come. Next question, what would you like to accomplish within your term at ECUA? Again, I could take up a whole show on that as well. Again, not to sound cliche, but my campaign promise of accountability and transparency. I want to, going back to the previous question, what was the most frustrating? And I explained the water tower debate and how the word America's First Settlement, the phrase America's First Settlement, and the word welcome, and how those could be offensive to anyone. I finalized that conversation with my fellow board members by making a suggestion that we do a cookout. So I think the residents of Escambia County are going to be very happy to look at the final product of the water tower with the Blue Angels on one side and the Welcome to Pensacola on the other side, Cradle of Aviation on the one side. And I suggested that we combine that with a cookout. Kind of a meet and greet. And I don't think that's something the ECUA has done before, but that's something I want to do. I think it's very important that we engage with the residents of Escambia County. We engage with you all, not just sitting behind a board and listening to issues and writing legislation and raising rates. I think it's certainly something that we owe it to the residents to get out there and meet them. So that was a suggestion that I made. So please reach out to your district, your board members 1 through 4, and tell them you think that's a great idea. You'd love to see them out there underneath that water tower when we unveil it, do the great reveal. And I'd love to do some hot dogs and hamburgers and have all my other board members out there meeting with you all, answering the questions that you've got, not just necessarily on this show. So that's going to be a shameless plug for reaching out to my other board members and telling them you think that's a great idea. You'd love to see them in person in the community, so you could ask them the questions that are burning in your mind. What else would I like to accomplish? Again, just being accountable to you all. We've covered several things, several issues in this segment about making the budget more transparent, having our meetings televised, live streamed where you all can ask the questions, of us, real time. Again, going over, getting the meeting time changed to 5:30, and again, I've told several people that have asked me about that. I said, look, I don't mind fighting the hard fight, not a problem, but I'll be darned, you guys better show up. You guys better. We get these meetings moved to 5:30. I expect to see every seat filled, right? When we get these meetings, moved. If I can convince at least 2 more board members to vote with me on that. So again, the accountability, the transparency. I'd like to be a little bit tighter on our budget. I think there's certainly ways we can save money. Thankfully, that's my strong suit, as I said before, is looking at the budget, going over the budget, looking for redundancy, waste, and where we can consolidate within that budget. Where can we save some money? Because the last thing I want to do is go to the ratepayers with an argument on how we need to raise your rates to cover infrastructure projects when we haven't done everything we need to do on our end to cut our budget, to clean our house, to make our organization run smoothly. So that is my guarantee to you, that I will continue to work hard for the residents of Escambia County and District 5 and make ECUA more transparent and make us all more accountable to you. So thank you so much for joining me, Kevin Stevens, And like I said, I look forward to doing these quite frequently. And next time I look to have some additional guests on here. So thank you for watching. Please stay tuned for our next episode of On the Board with Kevin Stevens. Thank you, and God bless.